Patrícia Miranda holds a degree and a PhD in sociology in the field of family and everyday life, both by ISCTE-IUL. Since April 2019, she works as data manager in the Portuguese Archive of Social Information, based at the University of Lisbon, the Institute of Social Sciences of the University of Lisbon. Patrícia, the floor is yours.
So good afternoon all. Thank you, Mariek and Stephanie, for the invitation. And also thank you for the opportunity of being here with my colleagues Vasco and Luís Junqueira to give our experience on the MEG and also on CESSDA Data Catalogue. So as Mariek was saying, I work as a data manager in APIS since 2019. APIS is a Portuguese archive on social information and is a scientific infrastructure for the preservation and dissemination of social science data. It is based in ICS, Institute of Social Science in the University of Lisbon. And the archive works towards the acquisition of and sharing of digital data for the purpose of public consultation, secondary analysis, and pedagogical use. So APIS is included in CESSDA, that is Production and Archive of Social Science Data, and which is part of the Portuguese Roadmap of Research Infrastructures, launched by the National Funding Agency, FCT, in 2015. So the APIS, the Portuguese Archive of Social Information, was approved as a CESSDA member in 2017. And if you want to know more about APIS history in CESSDA, you can see here in the first link the tour of CESSDA. There is some more information about our history in CESSDA and also some of the benefits of being a CESSDA member. In second link, you can see some information regarding a webinar that APIS developed and organized in ICS for our researchers. It was a webinar that we thought it was really important because we could promote the MEG, Data Management Expert Guide. I believe that it's a really important tool for researchers. So how they can develop their data management plans, show them all data life cycle, show them all the chapters of the MEG, and so they can learn and to not only to develop their data management plans, but also to make. We had our first studies in CESSDA Data Catalogue in 2019. So our roadshow speakers for today will be Luís Junqueira and Vasco Ramos. Luís Junqueira is one of the authors of the study that has been selected for this roadshow on climate change. It is about sustainability in Portugal, and he will talk about the importance of publishing data and organizing data and metadata when archiving in APIS, but also when publishing in RECAP, that is our national repository, and also in CESSDA Data Catalogue. Vasco Ramos reused the data of that study, so he will talk about the importance and the benefits of reuse data. Regarding the MEG, I have chosen archiving and publish chapter, not only because I work in an archive, but I really believe that archiving and publishing our data properly is at the core of making our data fair. It's very important that we show researchers how to archive and publish the data so that other researchers can properly access, understand, use, and cite them. So archiving and publish, they are connected because when you archive, you publish data. So we archive for future reference and publish data for high quality data with a potential for reuse. So it's really important that we show researchers that they should store the data in a suitable format with adequate documentation and also help them to make the data fair, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. Accessible, at least the metadata, because for instance, in this study, APIS 0062, you'll see that, and maybe Luís will talk about it, that the metadata is public. You can see all the metadata in CESSDA Data Catalogue and RECAP, and also in APIS catalog. But for instance, in this study, to access the database, so researchers can only see and access the data, the database, upon a request. So it's an example that the metadata should be always public. So if the researchers want to see and to access the data, they request access in the RICAP, the National Repository. So in this slide, I would like to emphasize the relation between the data lifecycle and FAIR principles, because it's really important that some of you may know that 90% of FAIR is about metadata. So metadata is really important to make data fair. In the phase of organize and document, researchers have to organize the data, of course, to document the data, but it's when archiving that they will have to decide, and normally it's usually with the archive, yes, they will have to decide which control vocabularies will they use to describe the data and metadata, what kind of metadata is needed, and also what standards does the archive use. For instance, APIs does use CESSDA vocabulary service that uses DDI, that is an international standard, as some of you may know. So here you can see the data life cycle, says the data life cycle. You can see only publish, but it's archiving and publish, yes, because archiving and publish are linked. And I would like to emphasize that it's really important, this phase, because of course, researchers, all phases are important and all they are all interrelated, but researchers have to organize the data. It is a process, of course, they have to be aware of the protection of data and so on, but it's when archiving and publishing the data that we researchers work together with archives to be aware that data and to be sure that data is well documented, yeah. And of course, I'm not saying that fair data, it's not synonymous with open data, okay? So, but the principles recommend that data should be as open as possible and as closed as necessary. So it's very important also to define the access categories linked to, associated with the data that is being published, okay? So publishing with CESSDA implies citing your data, licensing your data, and defining the access categories. So the researchers can make their data fair. So I've chosen this chart of CESSDA. Yes, so this sentence, so you can put data management expert guide at the heart of making the research data fair. It's very important, and I'm open to questions then. Thank you for your attention.